Resume the recording. We got a proper notification. Okay, wonderful. So as this recording will be available to everyone. Hello everyone. Let me welcome you very warmly. I'm today actually speaking to you from Bucharest. I'm very warmly welcome my uh, old companion in many things, mostly in the rankings that we know each other over 10 years, Kirill Ivanov. Kirill actually speaking from Budapest.
From Budapest, yeah, from the other side of the Danube, maybe a 15-minute drive from Corvinus University, not very far. Uh, Happy to be with you, Bartek, and the Corvinus colleagues.
Yeah, we coming back to our old heritage delivering webinars. I guess we missing it since we were doing it in the past very often for all members in the Central Eastern Europe. But at this time we will be speaking directly to you about the momentum of time what you have, which means ScienceDirect AI trial access, which is actually extending your current ScienceDirect Access license, accessible through the National Consortium deal. Today, we would like to add some points regarding to the technicalities, background of this feature available, but also we would keen to go to the live part because we both, me and Kirill, are so pragmatic in using some of these solutions, and we believe that it's better to show you a couple of our ideas, how we see it, how we would like to propose to use it, and of course, give you some simple snapshot where to click to get the access. So as we properly introduce, what we want to cover today, this is a couple points. Of course, I don't aim to following all of my slides or all of our slides, what we have prepared for today, but we would like to keep that someone who will be watching this presentation and also having this slide deck then can easily follow with all of informations. Of course, there are also some links especially to the other materials, what can be helpful for you as users. And we will be also happy if you have any questions, just to try to answer these questions during this meeting. The meeting is set up for 1 hour, but I believe we will be a little bit faster than 1 hour. So introducing ScienceDirect AI. It's a sentence what I like Eureka every day. So usually when we go through the um, research process or research cycle, what we very often calling is like the ideas momentum. When we are sitting, sometimes what I'm usually like the anecdotes. Oh, we were sitting around the table and drinking beer or wine or eating a dinner, and then the ideas come. This usually happen, but sometimes when we have idea, it's very good to consult really quickly and in a really good sources. What's going on? Is it a gap, or we investigate a gap? Do we have something new, specially? But maybe there is something what was already noticed in this particular area, and this is keen to understand earlier than we start planning, research planning, and so on. In this case, I believe that solutions based on the natural language and giving us a possibility to ask a question very quickly is better than momentum when we are need to build some kind of queries, thinking about the keywords in advance, and then of course retrieving information and walking through the hundreds of articles. This kind of hand is coming from the new companion in for the researchers, for everyone, not only for researchers but also for students as well, who is working with a research text, who is working with a method, looking for some kind of things based on the literature, what is used by them previously based on the ScienceDirect platform, like books, like journals, like original articles, or maybe just reviews, which can be, sorry for my voice, very helpful regarding the uh, final thing, which is sometimes just a diploma, which is sometimes a PhD, or even the next chapter of my manuscript, or even the next article available. Kirill, would you like to add something in that point? What kind of AI features like ScienceDirect AI is for you?
I would like, first of all, to not forget a couple more personas that ScienceDirect AI could be helpful for, in addition to active researchers and students, aspiring researchers. Let us not forget the other side of the academic activities, lecturers. And I figure that particularly for introduction courses or advanced as well, ScienceDirect AI could be a very powerful tool to introduce a broader scope of, let's say, theories. You are introducing your course into a particular theory in any subject area. I'll come up with an example for our demo part to demonstrate that. And you would like to put it into context, and it's really easier to bring in more ideas, competing theories, complementary theories, or maybe even contradicting theories, especially if we're talking about social sciences and humanities, the core part of academic activities, as far as I understand, at Corvinus University. Additionally, let us not forget about practitioners who would be delighted to go straight to the point, to the methodology or subject or conclusions, findings, referenced studies, or points speaking to another study within a paper, not having to go through the full text uh, by completely manually by oneself, instead having AI do that job for you. Let's
Thanks.
move on.
Thanks to adding this. Yeah, this is like Science Direct is a partner in crime, I would call it, changing completely the way how we can approach with the literature. And of course, this approach could be different by our, let's say, background, by our interest, but of course it should be helpful for us. It's not replacing reading, it's rather helping us to find the relevant part of the text if necessary, get it very quickly. Okay, let's jump to something more theoretical because before we start uh, giving you the possibility to have the access to the AI solutions, we were also thinking about, okay, how we should approach as a company to it, because of course, Elsevier itself is a data analytics company, a publisher. So we have a lot of different type of data, a lot of informations, but we base something as our responsibility to create kind of the principles. I don't want to, of course, deep dive to talk very theoretically about it, but this is something what is publicly available, and we always saying that this is our content. We are responsible for helping. We know, we understand, and we always thinking that our solutions are building a real impact to your job, to your day-by-day operations, sometimes even to you personally, because when you're deciding to publish with us your manuscripts, it means that this is something what is building your global visibility, and there will be could be multiplications, of course, using this kind of opportunity to create AI features, AI solutions. It's also very crucial to explain how the solution is working, to show as much as is it transparent the steps what the solution is doing. Because when we're talking with some kind of the modern concept of hallucinations, I believe that when we can follow how it's working, we can maybe not say that we are able to eliminate completely hallucination, but we can give each user the possibility to follow how this kind of tool is doing and how it's delivering such kind of responses, especially that these responses are used in the following materials, in the following things, even used for teach other colleagues, young early career researchers, or even students. So it need to be validated by the user and possible to validate by the user. Key benefits, what I would like to share with you, benefits or maybe even differentiation between ScienceDirect and the another AI Gen AI solutions. So first of all, one of the largest, and this is in my opinion the largest repository of the full text and books. So it means that here you pretty advanced with using ScienceDirect itself, usually for many years. but this is like all these generated elements, answering your questions, answering your queries, answering your prompts, is based on this full text, what you can retrieve also in articles, what you can retrieve in books where you have the access. So it means that we are not changing the source, we're just giving the another powerful way to accessing those sources. Second thing is the transparency, what I actually mentioned. It's very easy to following each of the message, where it's from. You can get the access to the part of the text. We will show you it a little bit later, but you can follow, okay, it's built based on this reference, it's built on this specific article. I can get access to the article. I can read the context if it's worth to me, if it's not actually so valid to my particular research right now. But then there is a possibility to following all of these messages. Usability, of course, before we will propose it to the whole research community globally, we were working, our colleagues working on it with external people, mostly with the researchers and the members of the community across over 70 different global organizations, that we were able to consult how it should work, how it should be prepared, how it exactly supporting your day-by-day efforts in different levels with different personas, as Kirill mentioned. And of course, it's working for your pure benefit. Reproducibility. This is something really crucial. Especially, I have this privilege being also an academic teacher, and sometimes I'm observing my students, which is master class students, when they are fighting to find the relevant method to observe something on a very simple way, as they are in the very beginning of their path of being a researcher. And in this case, I observed that sometimes these kind of solutions, even ScienceDirect AI, what we were test together with them, was really helpful according to the situation where they need to get a method, they need to have to see the results, how the implication is coming from it, how to apply this method to this kind of data. And they are trying to use these kind of things in their master diploma or other student works. But also it was very useful for them when they discuss with their tutors that, guys, this is the picture what I have found in recent data, so they can even build something more flexible and according to their data uh, what they are gathering from the data world. Additionally, not technical competency. I know that we are very often discussing with Kirill, with many of librarians, many people from academia, because sometimes we're bringing some graphs regarding the bibliometric data, but it's created in the Python, for example, and this is like the lack sometimes of a technical competency. But in this case, it's like simple, easy to use, to access to it. You will see in a minute that when you're just clicking and going to sciencedirect.com as usual, then you just have only one additional link to go to land in the ScienceDirect AI. So there are no additional needs in regarding the competency of using it. Last but not least, uh, I know that there are many solutions, Gen AI solutions. I'm also using them very often, but sometimes something what is a big difference between ScienceDirect AI and the others is that you don't need to upload anything. You just base on around 15 million of publications what we have here, research publications, peer reviewed, and you can be sure it's like the same when you are retrieving before, looking based on your keywords, looking based on your queries. This is exactly the same source of knowledge, what you have, what you can access, what you can read, and build your next publication based on it. Kiro, want to add something here, my friend?
I think for this part, Bartek, you were pretty comprehensive. I don't really have maybe to build a bridge between this and your previous points about um, the importance of guardrails in using AI and the principles that we have been following. I have a radical take on this. LLMs are designed to hallucinate, right? They are supposed to bring you some kind of output unless instructed otherwise, like you're saying that you must respond in with one word, no more. But generally, they're designed to hallucinate, while an advanced LLM its response would reasonably correspond to reality 99% of times, or maybe more. But the point is to make sure that first, well, this level of matching the reality is appropriate, and then to catch that 1% or less that might be crucial, especially if you are doing research that then will convert into reality, into actual decisions, technology, I don't know, drugs or parts or managerial decision making, whatever. And that is where the concept of XAI or explainable AI comes into place, which is embedded in ScienceDirect AI and all other AI-powered technologies that we have. Whichever output we have got, it will be accompanied by the data points explaining where that conclusion, where that statement comes from, allowing you, the researcher, the expert, anyone interacting with that response to verify, to vet this output to make sure it truly reflects the statements made in the original human vetted source. That would be my connection between the technology part and the importance of integrity and security guardrails in the AI world.
Thanks for this comment. Very, I believe, useful. So I think that it's not necessary to speak more using a slide deck, in my opinion. I hope you could join me with this statement, because we would like to go directly to the tool to show you couple of insights. Of course, the features what are there, because saying Science Direct is not only like, okay, this is only Science Direct, because sometimes we would like also show you how it can collaborate together with Mendeley. So you probably had about the reference manager Mendeley, and let's imagine the simple situation. In reference managers, we usually have our content. It's sometimes the content which is not accessible in this kind of thing, but in this kind of sources like ScienceDirect or the other publishers, because it could be like something from our repository or maybe even preprint in PDF format. But we would like to have the possibility to sometimes chat with these kind of publications or discuss with them, summarize them in the same way as we can do it with all embedded in ScienceDirect. So if I may, Kirill, can I pass you a screen right now for the live part, for the part of the live part?
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm stop sharing right now. I will be able to check a chart if anything is up right there. Okay, it's saying that, yeah, using Zotero. Yeah, people are using different one. It's their individual preference, but actually, in this case, I'm just sharing that this is also accessible. But we will see in the okay. We see ScienceDirect.com.
Yeah. So, first things first. If you want to use ScienceDirect AI, land on the homepage of ScienceDirect.com and go to ScienceDirect AI using this link in the top of your screen. And here you are. This would be your one of the interfaces, probably the first one that was introduced to allow you to interact with all the content that has been used to train ScienceDirect AI, which covers around 15 million articles and other kinds of documents in their full text version available on ScienceDirect. Let us start with something simple. Bartek, do you have any suggestions, maybe from your domain of research, something that you would be truly knowledgeable to comment on the results?
So you know that my back, I have a, let's say, doable back, background, which is one is archaeology, one is information science. So I will give you a floor that you can propose something from these two, or even something more, let's say, common, what you will feel could be good in the very beginning. I see that Auntie dropped something into the cheat sheet, but something long, so I can read it so quickly. I need to check it. But in this case, I'm leaving to you. What's new in information science, like a smart bibliometrics? Is this concept is available, you think?
Smart bibliometrics. Okay, I was just looking at Attila's message with a very long and elaborate query. Yeah, let me come back to that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Smart bibliometrics. So, uh, explain the concept of smart bibliometrics. Uh, I need to pinpoint that I haven't included Scopus abstracts for this particular
Mm-hmm.
search, so we're only focusing on the content available on ScienceDirect. Uh,
Okay, let's try.
mhm. So this would be the breakdown based on a few very recent papers, 2024. And I didn't even ask it to arrange the results in the table, which I often do with ScienceDirect AI and Scopus AI. But here, it's like it outsmarted me. It lived up to my expectations. It has this breakdown comparing traditional bibliometrics with smart bibliometrics. Well, I think all in all, for an introduction, let's say if you're not familiar with the area that just does it, we've got an overview and a one pager and links to follow for further exploration.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's try
So
something. Yeah, if you have
if
any.
yeah, I can comment on it because the first thing what it would be useful, especially in this kind of approach, is what I observe with my with the students, with sometimes even with the PhD candidates, that usually there is a discussion about the recent use of the concept of the keyword key phrase what we have here, smart bibliometrics. Sometimes they are bringing some very outdated definitions in their paper, and they should be able to investigate how many of the recent one is available. So in that case, it will be really helpful, especially if you will scroll a little bit down and click, for example, on one of the references, because you can see some hyperlinks in this generated summary, answering to our prompt. So if you can click on Wu or on Dragovic at all,
Yeah, just a second.
go ahead.
Here we go.
Yeah. And exactly this kind of point what I was trying to highlight during my slide deck speech is here. So we can see that the system science that can give us some insight, but also we have a possibility to following based on what kind of part of the scientific peer review text this kind of element has been built, that we can say that okay, this definitely first thing it's based on the document what is accessible. We can deep dive with this article. We can also observe which part, if you can just highlight this text starting from the implementation of the specific of the metric for specific. No, it's on the right hand side in a pop-up
Hmm.
in reference preview. Exactly this one.
Yeah, just
So
uh-huh.
yeah, we have here on the top. So this is something what is giving us okay. We can follow. We can even deeper explain Depends what where we would like to reuse this kind of message, or is it only building our knowledge base, or this is something very crucial from the perspective of our current text. But also, you have here a couple buttons left on the left-hand side. One is add to my library, because sometimes when we are doing something, it's more complex. It's not so simple that just we ask a simple question, we get the list of the answers. Sometimes we need to deep dive when later on, or we would like to come back to this particular topic uh, even in few days, or we are combining something regarding the review, what we are actually doing right now. Second thing is copy. I know that based on the some of my colleagues, they would like to very quickly have possibility to copy paste this kind of message to their file in Word in or in the other editor. And the last but not least, what I usually highlighting everyone, how relevant is this response? Because without your feedback, without users' feedback, we cannot say that, okay, is it relevant or is it irrelevant completely according to my previous questions? And of course, as Kiru mentioned, all of us, we have a different fields, we have a different backgrounds. So we are not able to say, oh, okay, this is something good in the DNA on chemistry or social sciences because we cannot feel ourselves as an expert in it. So following these all possibilities, there are much more ICC ways that we can collect the knowledge for our next step. And related insights, Kirill, over to you.
Well, for this, it is an extension of ScienceDirect content that was deemed relevant to our initial query. So these references have not been used to create the original summary, but by the relevance score, they have been considered interesting, uh, related to the topic in question, and just by a very quick glance over them, I believe they truly are.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, and we should probably say a couple of words about the beta version powered by not only ScienceDirect but Scopus abstract data, which is essentially this machine learning driven uh, creation of collections of papers that have been on the rise in terms of the number of papers published in recent time. Essentially, if we're talking about something like smart bibliometrics, which is really a hot topic, this would be another way to explore more relevant content and maybe some uh, parallel research questions that are tightly knit to the original query. Again, with each of these AI-generated topic summaries, you will have the list of references that these are based on that you can click on and then view in Scopus, depending on the open access model, depending on your available subscriptions. You may or may not uh, be able to view the full text of these articles. Now that this is a Scopus extension, it's really important to draw this line. Everything above this is based on full text content. This is based on title, keywords, and abstract data. And yeah, and then for the original query, if we are not fully satisfied with the original summary, we might choose to feed in additional abstract data from Scopus, where it will be combined with the full text data available on ScienceDirect. Okay, maybe let's try another example.
Yeah, if I may
You
add
have,
one comment, because this is also very crucial how we are approaching to doing a prompt with ScienceDirect AI. As Kirill highlighted the abstracts from Scopus, there will be a situation that in some cases depends of the momentum where you are in the research cycle. You would like to see more broader scope of everything, that the scopus, especially including the abstracts, can give you this possibility. Of course, just to be sure that you are going through the full text only. This is only ScienceDirect when these abstracts are excluded, exactly like we have this kind of use case to share.
Yeah, thanks, Bartek. Uh, so shall we move on to another example here?
Hmm.
Um, okay, I have one idea of mine, which was inspired by a recent conference that took place on Corvinus grounds, the conference of the Academy of Management. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, we may use AI for literature review for research purposes as well as for teaching purposes. If we're trying to bring in more context to elaborate on a particular theory, for instance, that we are teaching in our classroom. Or on the opposite, if you are faced with a new theory, particularly if you're doing an interdisciplinary research project and you might adopt a theory from an area that is not your specialty, you might want to see how well embedded that area is, let's say, in the academic consensus, or how well or not well it matches the other theories accepted by that corresponding academic community. Um, in one of the presentations at the Academy of Management conference, I uh, came across a really interesting uh, idea from a researcher, a management researcher by the name of Arnold Bakker, who came up with this theory of journal resources and demands, essentially explaining how having a lot at your disposal, resources, freedom to make choices, to shape your job, etc., how that compounds and brings an employee to further success, to being more proactive, to growing in their profession, and on the opposite, the vicious circle of not having enough resources and having too many demands makes them fail, and then it brings even more demands, more strain on them in their current position. So I was exploring this theory for a while, and as part of it, I used ScienceDirect AI, just for me, not a management scholar, to understand how well this theory is connected with other relevant management and labor psychology theories present in the field. So I would use some kind of a query that would first suggest putting the JRD, or fully job resources demand theory, um, and compare it with the others. And I will also suggest ScienceDirect AI should bring in the results in the shape of a table with the uh, summing up the theories and highlighting the relationship with the JRD theory that I'm interested in. So here we go. Once again, for the first try, I'm going to use only ScienceDirect abstracts, ScienceDirect full texts, no Scopus abstracts. And as you can see, there are quite a few relevant theories that are in different relationships with the JRD theory. For the first one, the original theory in uh, line one appears with a brief description. Then we've got three more, two of which complement JRD, and another one supports and complements it, which for me layperson in management uh, scholarly studies would tell that this theory is quite a recognized part of the academic consensus. However, if I would like to have even more context, I would bring in more data from Scopus abstracts. And I expect a couple more theories to appear on the list. Here we go. Just like that. And I don't see a single theory that has notable contradictions with JRD, which will tell me that I can further uh, explore this one and maybe adopt for my interdisciplinary study, which I'm actually kind of thinking about, but it's a story for another day. Uh, Bartek, what do you think for you as an academic teacher of master student, will it be something that you consider useful or you would recommend your students to do?
Definitely, definitely, this is a very good point, especially that this is, it could be taken as a very starting momentum because as when we are teaching, when we have a students, they should also to understand more deeper some of these kind of theories, how it was created, for example, in this particular case. So if we can use one of the example, I guess this is a good point to use one of this example to go to the research assistant, Kiro, to show how, for example, sorry, reading assistant,
Hmm.
that if you would like to understand something in more detail, I hope it's yeah, it's here in Science Direct. Okay,
Hmm.
so immediately pop up, and the system is mirroring our recent query according to this article, but according to this, actually, this is a chapter of a book. According to this part of knowledge, and of course, what we can do, we can try or start to chat. But before we will do it, I would like to ask you to just click on the first reference, motive-based theories. There is a number one, just here
Uh,
in the,
this one.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Hmm.
Because this is, I will be repeating myself, I guess, here, but this is like we see it in a little bit different form, means that we are deep diving with a single tag, not the whole around 14, 15 million of research articles and books available here in Science Direct, and just discussing or chatting what usually saying with this particular book. So in this case, we easily see where it's located, how it goes, and exactly we can understand more deeper what is crucial here according to the theory or according to the point what we would like to extract for us in our next thing. Depends on the purpose, research article, teaching or student element, or something just to building a script for ourselves for the next meeting with the students either. So this is one of the example. Of course, if you can ask anything about this text, this is also possible. Kiru probably will try to ask something deeper even.
Sure. Um, okay, let's think about well, which of the theories consider the cognitive aspect of work. I couldn't come up with anything more sophisticated, but I think it's going to do the job. Yeah, yeah. So, out of all the theories listed in this particular chapter, we've got three that refer to some kind of cognitive activity, which became part of these theories. Oh, like that, of course, it can be a more sophisticated question or very specific, something like, does this article or does this chapter speak anything about And
Mm.
if it doesn't, it just saves you a lot of time, and you could probably move on the next to the next article on your reading list because you have nothing to explore in this current one, just like that. So that is the second option, the second uh, use case. I wouldn't even call it a use case, the second mode of ScienceDirect AI, which allows you to interact in detail with a single document. Now, I guess it's time to move on to the third one, which is comparison.
Yeah, this is also good.
I think we have got here
Enough
a
articles to do it?
let's try. I wouldn't say that this is the typical kind of question that you would use to compare experiments, but this will be a pure experiment per se, if we try. So let's
Yeah,
try.
I remember I made a lot of these kind of tables manually in the past. So yeah,
Yeah.
like
Uh,
comparing the articles and comparing what is inside.
mm,
Especially one of my tutor was so fall in love with this kind of style. So he was forcing all of us to doing this kind of analysis regarding our scientific work.
mm. Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
it's really theoretical because this is not like a real experiments when they are using something like in chemistry or other
I
areas, but still.
I actually think just when it was in progress, I saw a few quantitative articles or a few quantitative experiments appearing, and then they are probably down on the list. So
Mm.
yeah. So you see, there were some surveys, data collected. And you see this description of the respondent sample and so on. Of course, depending on the subject area, you could have a very differently looking table with the specific statistics or other descriptions of the available sample. But the
Hmm.
idea is like that. Something that you typically do if you are reviewing multiple studies, especially quantitative studies, bringing in the methods used, the sample description, the used statistical methods, the results. Uh,
Kiro, if I may step you for a sec, because there is a
sure.
question in the chat. If you
Oh
can
yeah.
come back to the results and show once again when you click on the comparing experiments feature, because
Oh yes.
this is located down hand side. So if you scroll down under the whole uh, generated text and messages, there are a couple sections. Let's call three of them. First, we will discuss this is reference from summary, related insights, and emerging terms by Scopus AI. We will discuss this already.
Mhm.
Next one is what we called other actions. Bear in mind that these kind of tools, solutions, features are extremely dynamic in designing and creating and updating. So I can imagine that there will be more possibilities here in close future. And there is located compares experiments. And the last but not least is a follow-up questioning section, what we called ask another question. And if I may here to also loop the question coming from Attila in the beginning about the limitation, excuse me, about the limitation in the prompt area, yes, it's up to 500 characters if I remember correctly. And when we have such kind of thing, because I faced my students actually faced it very often, we actually till now under this current setup of the solution solve it by the follow-up. So usually we will try to squeeze as much as possible the first question containing as much as possible details to set up the whole system, and then we were following based on the supportive follow-ups down hand side of the solution. Of course, as I highlight, this is a current setup, so I can imagine myself that in the future these elements probably will be changing or will be updated to have it maybe even much differently, that we will can upload something here in this section to give some kind of additional elements. And the crucial what we would like to highlight here with Kirill, that if we have subscribers to the solution, it means that everything is automatically updated. So if we adding something, it's automatically with you. If we adding new way, or like here is include Scopus abstract, is it with you? So then there is sometimes differences, because when you are adding Scopus abstract, we cannot proof that you will have access to the full text, because this is based on the abstract, not the full text. But very often you have another licenses, another subscription to the additional publishers, and then based on it you will have it. We'll show later on from the My Library section how it looks like when you don't have such kind of thing. Kiro, over to you, because time is, let's say, going very quickly.
Mhm. Thanks, Bartek. I think we need to make a couple of points, putting in our solution in a broader context, as we were asked by our colleagues. So maybe a few words about similar solutions like Scopus AI, like S-Site. If we try to compare the functionality and the use cases that these solutions are appropriate for. So I think the key differentiator is that ScienceDirect AI is based on full text information from the complete documents, articles, reviews, books, and book chapters, with their accompanying tables, experiment results, and so on, which, as you have seen, can be manipulated and put nicely into a predefined structure, such as a compare experiments tables, or a table that you define yourself in the search query or in your prompt, to put it precisely. So, which makes such a comparison maybe not completely appropriate. So if we're talking about high-level analysis of the rising topics, or the availability of research in a particular area at all, for which the information coming just from article abstracts would be enough. That puts solutions like Scopus AI and S-Site on one shelf together, and we can then talk about their coverage, the available features, and so on, but that's outside of our scope today. For ScienceDirect AI, this is the solution designed for researchers focused on their particular project in the moment, looking for not only a broad exploration of topics, available literature, or comparing available theories, speaking to their research questions, like in my example, but also figuring out the exact parts of the content that can be useful for their literature review, or let's say to be reproduced in their own article, not wasting time on reading the full papers themselves, but only the parts that are relevant. With that, I need to say, like personally, I I don't believe that this means that reading literature that solutions like ScienceDirect AI renders reading literature obsolete. Absolutely not. There are articles, there are books that are worth and that must be read cover to cover as part of teaching, of uh, becoming a knowledgeable professional in a particular area. But then not every paper is worthy of that. Some of them are purely technical, and the only part worth being interacted with is the part that your research can benefit from, whether it is methodology or the data set and its description, which you are going to use for your experiment, or something else. Um, so once again, to sum up, ScienceDirect AI compared with abstract-based solutions provides a completely different level of depth interacting with academic content based on almost 3,000 Elsevier journals plus titles from our partner entities such as subject area communities.
Just one adding, if I may, because this is something what is following. There is a Attila questions in the chat about the set up the let's say sources what will be used for generating you the answer to your prompt. I think that this is a main difference between us and the other solutions because when you're asking your prompt, when you're doing a prompt in the solutions, system will using everything what is available means 14 million of resources. So it's not like a limitation that you need to be sure that you will use this particular sort of content and just asking the questions. Of course, I cannot say that it will be like it is right now because maybe based on the feedback coming from the users, there will be some changes. Like this kind of feature will be
Mhm.
added here that only open access content, or maybe only reviews, or maybe only the original articles. Depends of the needs. But currently, how we see it is like, okay, even if, for example, you have no access to the full text content, it means that the full text content is all the full text content is working to you when you're asking the prompt. Different situation is when you're trying to work with the reading feature, then you need to have the access to the content itself. It's the same like you would like to download the PDF. So as long as you are here in this area where now Kiro is sharing on his screen, this section based on all publication available in Science Direct. So this is the first thing. Um, it's really difficult to say that this is differentiation or not, but you can be sure of one thing. This is definitely peer review content. This is definitely the content what you were reading in your area before you start using Science Direct. This is not like somebody needs to upload something that you will available, or even in scenarios the system can hallucinate something based on the internet or any other available somewhere sources. Additional question was about these 500 characters. Yeah, I can imagine it could be difficult, but currently it is set up like we have this limitation. Of course, I will be asking you for highlighting such kind of things, not to me, not to Kiro, but you will see on the bottom side of the web page. If we can scroll down, Kiro, for a
Yeah,
sec.
sure.
There is a feedback. There should be a feedback section.
Provide
Provide
feedback.
feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is like individual voices are counting like in the elections processes. So if we will deliver such kind of message, this is like a one voice, Kiro is the another voice. But when you, for example, Attila or anybody else will see that, okay, this limitation is really irritating to me. The guys should think about it to change this to have, I don't know, 750 or maybe 1,000, maybe no limits even,
Mhm.
but this is something what need to be what need to be mentioned. As I told you in the very beginning, when before we will present the solutions, there were a very long time that we were consult these things with the professionals from many institutions. So this is the current version. So I imagine it will be changed. It will be maybe even completely different. That you will be just doing it differently than now. But
Mhm.
the time that the future version and the time is will show us how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. Two points, if I may add. Speaking again of the year range, it's like Bartek said, it might be included in the future, provided that this feature is very popular with the available with the current users by popular demand. That's how our products are updated essentially. But for now, publication years are used as one of the parameters to include or not include papers in the core summary selection. Their relevance based on the content, their citation rate, and their year of publication are the data that help the algorithm provide most relevant content. The most recent articles are given more weight, and if you look at a typical summary, unless it is some kind of an ancient topic no one has published about for a while, you will mostly see papers from the past few years, when in our case, with this follow-up question about job theories, we'll have publications from the past 3 years, starting 2023. And one more point on Attila's suggested prompt that exceeds the unfortunate limitation of 500 characters. Well, the workaround I can think about is just trying to use another AI tool to cut it short and fit the current character limitation. So that is what I have done with the query Attila proposed, and this is what we get. I know that this is a workaround and might not be ideal with any contraction. We lose certain details, but I hope this could help at least to some extent. Yeah, so would be interested to hear your comments if it's something really relevant or the original query is very different from this one.
Okay. Yeah, that's like, the section about the follow-ups is also probably supportive, especially that usually even when we squeeze this, like you mentioned, without the details, then we can still follow up in some kind of direction, or even just to rebuild a little bit the questions, checking some of the areas. So I can imagine myself when I was working with it the first time that there were no ideal response to my prompt.
Mm, yeah, and there is a point from Attila on the emerging themes
Hmm.
feature. I believe, yeah, you're right. And to explore this feature, users need to have an active Scopus AI um, subscription, but we're gonna double check it whether it is true. But the common sense suggests that yeah, you need to have the other solution to take advantage of this particular feature.
Hmm. Okay, I have one suggestion what we should also consider all together, that maybe it will be valuable for all of us, that we will come back in 2 weeks with something like we will do a Q&A, live Q&A, what we proposed previously to the another solutions with Kirill years back. And this is something what we can deliver here as well. So I will park maybe here because we are a little bit on time right now. So what we can wish you guys, just to play with the solution, check and come back to us with some of the question, with some of the suggestions, as well as we encourage you to do it. And then of course we will see what is at the end, yeah, because maybe there are some more questions what we can deliver, especially please bear in mind that many of these generated things from ScienceDirect AI you can export outside. to Excel sheets to CSV documents. And I can imagine it could be very interoperable with other of your tools what you have, because sometimes people just told me that this is good thing that I can get this outside of the solution. I'm keen to listen your feedback. Is it useful or is it useless, for example, in some kind of areas. Kiro, anything at the end? Would you like that? Or maybe there are some questions?
I don't see any further questions. And to be honest, I think that was pretty much it. And for the rest, the solution is going to speak for itself. We're really looking forward to your feedback and questions and suggestions. Looking forward to the next session where we are going to address those.
Great. So, if any questions, just let us know. You will have our emails, so we will add at the end of the presentation our direct contacts. First thing. Second thing, we are happy to get feedback. If it's good, if it's not good, if it needs to some modification, just let us know. Very helpful. And yeah, we will send the recordings when it will be computed, and we are in touch. Thank you for today. We wishing you a pleasant afternoon, and I hope to see you in person someday in Budapest, or if you will be in my home country, Poland, just let me know.
Thank you. I guess we have better chances. Me and the Corvinus colleagues to meet up because we are only separated by a 15-minute drive between Fővámtér and Újbuda. And other than that, I'm really looking forward to our catch up in a couple of weeks and meeting in person.
Great, thanks. Bye bye.
Cheers.